A girl without a goodbye. In the winter of 1892, snow blanketed the fields of Salem, Massachusetts. At the edge of town stood a stone orphanage, gray and cold, housing 31 children. None more curious than 7-year-old Eliza Wren. Eliza wasn't like the others. She barely spoke, but she listened. She'd sit for hours by the window staring into the fog beyond the trees, humming lullabies no one else remembered. The caretakers said she was troubled. The other children said she wasn't alone. They claimed Eliza spoke to someone in the mirror of the old nursery bathroom, someone tall, someone who always whispered back. On February 3rd, Eliza vanished. Her bed was cold, untouched. Her shoes were beside it. The room was locked from the inside. There were no footprints in the snow, only a dark handprint pressed against the foggy window, but from the inside. The police blamed it on escape. The nuns whispered of something else. The mirror in the nursery was found shattered from within, shards facing outward as though something had stepped out. Found, but not the same. In 1985, 93 years later, a woman in Topeka, Kansas, walked into a police station holding the hand of a little girl she found crying by a train station. She looked confused, pale, and was dressed in old-fashioned clothes. The girl gave her name, Eliza Wren. Authorities were baffled. There was no missing person filed under that name in decades. But when they ran DNA against archived ancestry records, one match came back, an exact genetic tie to a long-dead woman named Margaret Wren, Eliza's biological mother. But that was impossible. Margaret died in 1895. What was more shocking, Eliza hadn't aged a day. She still looked 7, still had the same odd lullaby, and she refused to go near mirrors. She was placed in foster care. A social worker recorded her saying something chilling. "He told me I can't stay long this time. The door's closing." Exactly 13 days after her return, she vanished again. The foster home's mirror shattered again from the inside. After the 1985 incident, investigators found something strange. The name Eliza Wren had appeared on orphanage records in at least 4 different states over the past century. Always a young girl, always 7 years old, always vanished within days. No one ever remembered placing her. No photos, just a sudden arrival, a quiet presence, then disappearance. In 2003, a paranormal investigator in Rhode Island caught an EVP during an overnight stay in a condemned children's asylum. He'd asked, "Who are you?" And a girl's voice whispered back, "He won't let me grow up. He says I'm his story now." She was never seen, but the temperature in the room dropped to below freezing for 11 minutes. The mirror on the wall cracked in 3 straight lines. Across the broken surface, dust spelled one word: Eliza. Digging through the archives of the original 1892 orphanage, a local historian found records of a headmaster, Richard Greaves, a secretive and harsh man with no living descendants. He was obsessed with immortality, writing journals about the soul's anchor in reflection and binding innocence to the frame. He disappeared in 1893. Rumor said he'd gone mad after the Eliza incident, but his final journal entry read, "The child's light binds me. I must tether it again. A new cycle must begin. When she forgets, I return." There were no further entries. The last sighting. In 2011, a therapist in Syracuse, New York, posted anonymously on a psychological forum. She described a girl who arrived at her clinic with no records, no guardian, and no emotional expression. The girl said her name was Eliza and that she didn't remember how she got there. The session lasted 47 minutes. When the therapist turned to grab her pen, the girl was gone, vanished. No door had opened. No camera caught her exit. Only the room's mirror remained, shattered. That same night, the therapist received a voicemail, static, and then Eliza's voice, barely above a whisper. "He's lonely again. He wants another one." The girl who is still 7. What is Eliza? A ghost caught in a cycle? A soul bound by a forgotten curse? A child chosen by something ancient to relive the same nightmare for eternity? No one knows. But if you ever see a pale girl by the train station, barefoot, humming a song that makes your bones feel cold, don't speak to her. Don't take her hand. And whatever you do, never let her near a mirror. And so the girl who vanished in 1892 still walks among us. Not older, not younger, just waiting. They say some stories never end. They just hide in mirrors, in whispers, in shadows. And Eliza Wren, she's still out there. Watching, listening, looking for the next open door. This was Hallowed Mysteries, where the past never dies and the truth is stranger than fear. If this story chilled your bones, there's more waiting. Subscribe, turn on the bell, and enter the next darkness with us.